A QR code can have 30% of it completely torn away and still scan perfectly. That's not an accident. It was engineered that way deliberately. Here's the genius system hidden inside that tiny square you scan every single day. Most of us treat QR codes like magic. Point phone. Thing happens. Move on. But inside that tiny square is something remarkable. A complete system. A language. A design so clever that it can survive being torn, dirty, wet, or half covered, and still carry your payment information perfectly. There are no letters inside a QR code. No numbers you can read. No hidden text. It's all patterns. And once you understand what those patterns mean, you'll never look at one the same way again. So let's start with what most people assume. Most of us think a QR code is just a fancier version of those striped lines you see on products at a supermarket checkout. Your phone reads it, it translates to a number, done. But a QR code is something completely different. And far more clever. Those checkout stripes can only store about 20 numbers, just enough to identify a product. A QR code can store up to 4,000 characters, an entire website address, a payment ID, a boarding pass, all in the same tiny space. Same size. Hundreds of times more information. So how? Here's the simple version of what's actually going on. Your phone isn't reading letters or words when it scans a QR code. It's reading a pattern of black and white squares. And each square means something very specific. A dark square means yes. A light square means no. Yes and no. On and off. That's it. That's the entire language. And by arranging thousands of these yes-no squares in a grid, you can spell out any information in the world. Think of it like Morse code, but instead of dots and dashes, it's black and white squares arranged in a pattern your phone can read instantly. Now here's something you've definitely noticed but probably never thought about. Every QR code has 3 large square patterns, one in each corner, except the bottom right. They look like a square inside a square inside a square. These are called position markers. And their only job is to tell your phone camera which way the QR code is facing. Think about it, when you scan a QR code it might be upside down, tilted, or at a weird angle. The moment your camera spots those 3 corner markers, it instantly knows exactly which direction to read the rest of the pattern. The whole thing happens before you've even held your phone still. But here's the part that genuinely impressed me, QR codes are built to survive damage. Up to 30% of the code can be torn, scratched, or covered, and it will still scan perfectly. The reason is simple. When a QR code is created, the same information is stored in multiple places across the pattern. So even if one part is destroyed, the same data exists somewhere else in the code. This is also why you sometimes see QR codes with a company logo placed right in the middle of them. That logo is deliberately covering part of the code. But the rest of the pattern carries enough information to fill in the gaps. A self-healing system. Printed on paper. Using zero power. And here's the fact that surprised me the most about all of this. QR codes were invented in 1994. Not by a tech company. Not in Silicon Valley. By a Toyota engineer in Japan named Masahiro Hara. He was trying to track car parts moving around a factory floor, faster and more accurately than the old stripe system allowed. He had no idea that 30 years later his invention would be how billions of people pay for their morning coffee, board their flights, and access restaurant menus. One engineer. One factory problem. One solution that quietly changed the world. So next time you tap your phone at a payment counter and that QR code scans in under a second, picture what just happened. Your camera found 3 corner markers and figured out which way the code was facing, in milliseconds. It read thousands of black and white squares as a sequence of yes and no answers. It decoded those answers into your payment information. And it did all of that, faster than you blinked. No chip. No battery. No internet connection needed. Just a pattern on paper. One of the most quietly brilliant inventions of the last 30 years, hiding in plain sight on every menu, every receipt, and every payment counter you've ever visited. That's it for today. If this made you think, subscribe, because we explain something new every single week.